Alrighty, people. Week 5. Here we go. It's time to get the game plan going, and we're here to help you. We are answering start-sit questions, trade questions, whatever questions you've got. We're here to help. Here's how the stream is going to work. We're going to answer your questions in order. If there are super chats, those will take priority. Obviously, if you decide to donate to the channel, we will put your questions first, right? Y'all know the dealio. But we should start by saying there are questions on our website. That will be the first thing that we go to. If you haven't used our website yet, we would definitely appreciate it if you give it a look. First things first, you can get a free membership by using the promo code LAND when you sign up. That gives you access to the trade calculator, rankings, as well as the league analyzer for like expert consensus. And then, of course, you can also ask a question through the site, which is an incredible feature. We are very proud to be a part of that site. It's incredible what's going on there. But let's start with some news.
Some new news.
They said it was over. It might not be over, people. It might not be over for Rashee Rice. Am I holding on to completely unrealistic expectations? Maybe. But we've got so many doctors and people on ESPN and all over reputable names, people who work for the NFL saying, hold on a second. Hold on. Rashee Rice, he might not be done for the year. So that will be very exciting for me as I have him in so many leagues. But Edwin Porras, who's a doctor, he's a founder of Pro Athlete PT, smart guy. I've never met him before. I'm not even going to pretend, but he looks like a smart guy. He says, I'll be damned. Rice likely avoided an ACL tear. This is why we confirm with imaging. Still, if it's a bone bruise and or PCL sprain, this could be a 4+ week injury. And then he says, for those asking, if MRI doesn't confirm ACL the next day, the likelihood of it being ruptured is low. This is general sports med rule of thumb, which is great. And then you got the comments who are saying the Chiefs sold their soul. Mahomes is a Satanist, which is honestly kind of hilarious.
Can you have like a partial tear on an ACL? Like, is that a thing? You know how you have like partial breaks or like a hairline fracture? Can you have like a hairline tear on an ACL or MCL? I mean, if you're a doctor in the chat, say something.
That's a great question. By the way, he also went on to say on-field testing is highly accurate, like 98% accurate, but there have been a handful of cases since I started doing this where MRI did not confirm ACL, and this was before he tweeted the latest thing. So a lot of people out there are saying, look, this could be more of a bone bruise, hyperextension, and it's just a lot of pain right now, and he can get past it in 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. We'll see. But there's a possibility if you have him and you're making the playoffs, he'll be available on your roster for the playoffs. So that's something to note. It's not something that I can guarantee, obviously, so keep that in mind. Also, the Davante Adams news. Guys, I was prepping a stash video that was coming out for you tomorrow. I was about to look like a genius if this report just came out one day later. I mean, we'll still talk about that name on the stash video. But anyway, Davante Adams is requesting a trade. Commanders are in. The Jets are in. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, the Steelers are potentially in. I don't know why he'd want to go there. No disrespect. It's a good franchise. It's a great team, right? But I just don't know, like, quarterback-wise, why he'd want to go there.
I mean, it just makes sense for him to go to
somewhere else.
Literally to go somewhere else. And I put my money on the Jets. I think it just makes sense. He doesn't really have to learn this offense. He knows the Nathaniel Hackett offense. He knows Aaron Rodgers. He can be plugged and played. That would suck if you are a Garrett Wilson owner.
Yes.
That in Dynasty or in redraft.
So bad if you own Garrett Wilson.
That's kind of where I'm at. I would say, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yes. Snoop Huntley will remain the Dolphins starter, but, and I'm going to talk about this on a video. I think I actually tweeted this. Did I tweet this? Okay, yes. So Adam Beasley reported recently, Adam Schefter's reports Tua Tags is symptom-free and appears to be on track to return to the field as soon as week 8. All right, that's so important because all indications, it's been my belief since the beginning that he is going to come back. It's been stronger every week, and I have no doubt that he's going to come back now. It's just the timeline. So this is your chance to buy low on Tyreek, Waddle, Achane. Like, it's going to slip away very quickly. So if you don't watch the video tomorrow, I gotta let you know on the stream right now, if you're a team out there that is 4-0, 3-1, or you're 2-2, but you think your team is really strong, you have to go trade for Tyreek Hill right now. You have to do it. You have to go trade for Devon Achane. I promise you, it's going to be worth your time if you can just, sludge out some wins, as we kind of get towards that return date for him. Because the minute Tua is back, Badaki, Tyreek Hill is my #1 wide receiver rest of season. The minute he's back.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. If you can get him on your hands, if somebody doesn't know these reports, you definitely do whatever you possibly can. And especially if you're in that position, I wouldn't recommend doing this if you are 0-4 currently. Maybe it's not the best move to make because you really have to go win some games. Maybe if you're 0-4, you have to trade away Tyreek Hill to go out and get some players that you're gonna. Maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe, but I mean, I think what we saw last night with Tyler Huntley, it's still not a startable asset for anyone on this offense, in my opinion. Even Tyreek Hill,
I feel like the floor was pretty safe for Tyreek though. What did he get? Like 10 points? Is that right?
He got 8 points. He got 8 points. So like he got 7 targets, but still, I mean, he has New England next week.
It was inches away, by the way, just inches away from a deep touchdown. I don't know if you remember that, Tyler. Just thought that context would be good to include. Christian Watson, unlikely to be placed on IR. I don't know how that's possible, the way that he got injured. It looked like he was out for 6-7 weeks. Here's what I'll say with the Dontavion Wicks. When I made that video, it felt like he was going to be on the IR. So instead of spending like 35-40% of your fab, I'd bump that down to about 20-25%. I still would have Dontavion Wicks as my #1 pickup this week. So hopefully that is helpful. But we are going to start the day. We're going to answer a bunch of your questions, as many as we can, but we're going to start the day with some website questions. I always forget to click start streaming. Damn it. Okay. We are streaming over here, though, on the Flock site. We're going to answer some of your questions over here. These are people who have asked questions through our website. If you haven't signed up to the website, you can sign up for free. Use the promo code LAND. You'll get a 7-day free trial. And you can get access to free not creator rankings, but expert consensus rankings, league analyzer, trade calculator. And the website is so much, it's a much better place for you to ask your questions, both for you and for us. YouTube doesn't take 30% of your donation away from us. So definitely go check it out with the link that we put in the chat. First one is a trade question from Hazy, who says, "Thank you, Dodfather." So maybe that's actually a pretty incredible name. Like, if someone, low-key Badaki, if you and I beat Mason Dodd in the Flock League one week, that has to be our name moving forward. That's incredible.
I mean, yeah, that is incredible. I mean, week 8, that's where I play him, so I can't wait.
Yes. All right. So this is the trade offer here. It looks like one side gets Mike Evans, Breece Hall. The other side gets Neighbors and Jonathan Taylor. Latest reports on Jonathan Taylor are a little bit confusing. No one said he's ruled out this week. He probably won't play. He's not going on IR. It's just confusing.
Yeah, I think it's like a Joe Mixon type of thing. Like, it's going to take it day by day. He avoids IR, which means that he can come back in less than 4 weeks, but most likely is going to miss 2 weeks. So it's kind of like this weird. That's kind of what I'm getting. I'm projecting off of these, reports, but when it comes down to this trade, it is very interesting. I mean, Mike Evans, Malik Neighbors, I do believe that's kind of actually, I do want Malik Neighbors over Mike Evans rest of season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now, Malik Neighbors is a wide receiver 1, unquestionable. Not rest of season rankings, but like in fantasy scoring.
In fantasy scoring, yeah, exactly. And for me, Breece Hall and Jonathan Taylor, I mean, I do want Breece Hall still, so I think
it's close though, man. I don't think there's a big gap between those names anymore with the Braylon Allen usage. So I think I lean Malik Neighbors. If I knew that JT was only going to miss 1 week, this would be the Malik Neighbors side for me.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Jonathan Taylor has been technically outscoring Breece Hall. I mean, he's a running back 6.
So decent, but like just efficiency wise, it's not the Breece that we knew. I think he'll figure it out. I think he'll recover, but the efficiency's been rough, dude.
Yeah, it's not what we hope and expected coming out. So I would agree. I'll go Malik Neighbors and Jonathan Taylor, but I think you also have to understand that he could be missing a couple games. So if you are in a position, let's just see who else he has on his team actually. So be like, hey, I know Jonathan Taylor's gonna miss some time. Can you throw in a Rico Dowdle and you can send a low player?
There's not another name like that.
Well, he has Chase Brown. It looks like you also have.
That's technically what you can do. You could add Chase Brown in there, and then you could send him. Well, to be honest, you have better names.
Yeah, you have better running backs.
JT
Yeah, so
anyway.
If anything, you keep your players because you do have once again the depth at the running back: Chase Brown and Joe Mixon, and Najee Harris as well. So I think you just rock with that.
Yes. So we will take the Neighbors Taylor side. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the question. Again, guys, if you want your questions answered straight away, oh, that's not the link I meant to send. Then check out the pinned comment. In the pinned comment, you'll have access to our website. You can get a free account just by using the promo code LAND, get access to free rankings, the trade calculator, the league analyzer, so many free assets over there for you guys. And then, of course, you can ask us if you're planning on donating a super chat, go check out the website first because it's a better experience for you, and YouTube doesn't take 30% of your donation away from us. This is from Miss Sarah, who says, I also have Lad, but I don't think he will do good. I'm doing wide receivers because they are so good to pick. All right, so this is a 12-team start 7. It just looks so clean on the website, doesn't it? It looks so good. Here's the deal. You can't start Lad McConkey because he's on bye. So let's just remember that. But we're starting Chase, we're starting Deontay, and now we're choosing between DJ Moore, Xavier Legette, or T. Higgins this week. Do you have a strong pull towards one of these names?
It's between DJ Moore and T. Higgins. The reason why I would lean DJ Moore is because the matchup against the Carolina Panthers should be in favor of them.
Yeah.
But T. Higgins also does have a tough matchup against the Ravens this week, and I just would rather go with the better quarterback in T. Higgins personally.
Yeah, I think I lean T. Higgins as well. Can I tell you why? Here's the tough part. How long can we say DJ Moore gets targets? When will they be valuable? Look at DJ Moore's fantasy season so far. 10 points, 11 points, 15. That's the high so far. He had a touchdown last week with 11 fantasy points. And I saw a route graph recently on Twitter, and someone was talking about Shane Waldron. They looked at what JSN's route tree looked like last year in his offense and DJ Moore's route tree this year. It's disgusting. I mean, this is what Shane Waldron does. He just limits your wide receivers. Anyway, yeah, I do think I am going to go T. Higgins here, to be honest with you. It's close. Both have pretty decent matchups, not going to lie. Carolina's a good matchup, and for T as Baltimore's getting torched through the air, except for last week. But T is definitely, still one of those top names in this offense. Andre Shivas is not a threat. So I think, T. Higgins just came back recently, and he has, 12 points. That's one of the better weeks for DJ automatically. I am going to lean T. Higgins there, but it's very, very close.
Yeah, it is very close for me. I'm going to lean T. Higgins as well. Yeah, I'm going to lean T. Higgins as well. Just have to go there.
Hey, guys, do us a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button to show some love. We got a like goal today of 50 likes. With your help, I know we can get there. You guys are awesome. You're so supportive. We are answering questions through the website to begin today's stream. A little note, if you want to try the website, go ahead and check it out. Use the promo code LAND for a free account. And then, of course, you can ask some questions here. And by the way, if you want to get your question always answered at the beginning of every stream, pop it into the website, because those will always be the questions that we look at first. But we appreciate you, Miss Sarah. But here's the next one from Apple Pie Monster. I think I'm saying that right. And trade accepted. Okay, so this is a accepted trade already, by the way. And they said of Diggs and Monty for Ayuk and Mixon. Too much to offer for CMC and Hunt. Okay, so that's a different trade. Sorry. So he said he accepted a trade of Diggs and Monty for Ayuk and Mixon. I think he got Diggs and Monty. I don't know for sure. But is it too much to offer for CMC and Hunt? He wants CMC gone. So you would get CMC and Hunt. You'd send Charbonnet, Jennings, and Brooks? Absolutely not. I love Jonathan Brooks and Raheem Mostert. No, look, I love Jonathan Brooks, but if CMC is back and healthy, he is the most valuable player in fantasy still.
Yeah.
Or at least top 10.
It's just, you just really have to understand, like, what's going to be happening with Christian McCaffrey. And well, actually, no one can understand what's going to happen with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, look, that's fair. I probably shouldn't be so bold back, right? Like, in what I say.
Like, and I get it, because like any other season, any other day, any other week, if CMC is playing, he's like locked in top 3 running back. But like with all this tendonitis, Achilles tendonitis, I feel like it could definitely take he could take a huge step back. But even if he does come back, I think it's even more reason for them to give Mason some work. Unless he's everyone that completely agrees that he's 1,000% unhealthy. But
one thing I was gonna say, like, we're not that big of a channel, but I feel like we have enough cool people in the community. Surely there's got to be a sports medicine doctor out there, and we can just like make them our official sports doctor or something for Fantasyland football. I don't know. I mean, like, we're not huge or anything, but could we get to that point? That could be cool to have someone, a correspondent we can rely on. But you know what I was thinking, Badaki? Like, Kareem Hunt, respectfully, is more valuable rest of season than Charbonnet, Jennings, and Mostert already. So the fact that you're getting Christian McCaffrey as well, this to me seems like a no-brainer for the Christian McCaffrey side. And there's no risk. It's not like I love Jonathan Brooks, but we don't know for sure when he's coming back, and we don't know for sure that he's going to be, the guy with Chuba playing so well. So I'm gonna go the CMC side of that for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Hey,
thank you so much.
We are gonna keep answering some website questions, but we have to give a big shout out to Sal here. Honestly, like, but Badaki and I keep saying this in the Flock League. We keep being like, bro, if it's not you, if it's not me who wins it, I want it to be Sal who wins it, because we just think you're such a good dude. He says, this is my bribe for Amari Cooper. Jokes aside, I respect the grind, fellas. Keep up the high quality work.
Hey, man, huge love. We appreciate you. I play you this week in the Flock League, and I'm going to make a clip here soon. If there's anyone I want to lose to, it's to Sal. And I'll be okay. I'll be okay if I lose,
When if I see Sal on my schedule, I'm heartbroken, because I'm like, it's a lose. One of us is going to lose. Sure. But no, we love Sal. Incredible work on his channel. And we met him in Austin. Such a cool dude. So down to earth. But we appreciate you, Sal. Very, very kind of you.
Huge love, man.
Love. Too kind. I think we've had 2 $100 donations on the channel, and I think they've both been from Sal.
Someone can top that.
I appreciate you, Sal.
Huge love. Thank you so much, man. That's awesome.
All right, we are going to get back to these website questions again, guys. If you want to skip the queue, we will look at super chats for sure. We're not going to leave you guys out to dry at all. We'll try and look at some regular questions as well. But if you want the best experience for yourself, then use the link in the pinned comment to go ahead and ask a question through our website. If you don't have an account yet, don't worry. It's very easy to create an account, and you can get access to free rankings if you use a promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, when you are creating an account. So go ahead and consider doing that. Check out the comment. And by the way, it helps us out because YouTube takes 30% of your donation anyway. That's not the case over on the Flock side, obviously. Mason isn't that greedy. Okay. So let's look at this next one here from Chris, who says, wide receivers are St. Brown, DJ Moore, Ayuk, Kirk, Adunze. Running backs are Henry, Harris, Dowdle, Brooks, Chubb. So it's a trade question. It's a super flex league, 10-team start 8 PPR, no tight end premium. One side gets Stevenson, Drake London. The other side gets Olave, J.K. Dobbins. Olave and London, the last 2 weeks are looking so much better than they did in the first 2 weeks. They're really kind of taken off. And really, J.K. Dobbins and Stevenson feels kind of like a wash.
At the moment. Look, my initial thought is like, I would rather have Drake London. I think he is clearly the number 1 target. They're not that Chris Olave isn't. I like the way this offense is operating more. And at the moment, I still would rather have Ramondre Stevenson, even though he has 2 down weeks. That's kind of where I'm leaning. I'm still leaning Drake London, Ramondre Stevenson. Not sure where you're at here.
Yeah.
And I would say this. Sorry, I would just say this because I don't think your running backs are that strong to give up Ramondre Stevenson. And I know, once again, Ramondre Stevenson hasn't been doing too much of good work in the past couple weeks. but I don't think J.K. Dobbins is a guy that I will be pivoting to.
To be honest, I in my rest of season rankings after this bye week for J.K. Dobbins, I would actually have J.K. Dobbins ahead of Stevenson rest of season in my rankings. Okay. And a lot of that has to do with the perceived value that he could improve on. And week 6 versus Denver, week 7 versus Arizona, those are two offenses that you can definitely run on. And if I know like the fantasy points haven't looked good. I mean, we kind of predicted it. I'm not trying to victory lap or anything, but we said like, hey, it's probably good to sell high on Dobbins when he's RB4 through 2 weeks. He has 2 tough matchups upcoming. But the underlying numbers are really encouraging. 58% snaps in week 1, then 46, then up to 65 and 71%. I mean, Gus Edwards is a non-factor completely. I'm not even sure if J.K. Dobbins went down, if Gus Edwards would be like the guy that they turn to. He's completely inefficient. He's losing snaps. He's losing touches. I think Dobbins is like the guy on a very heavy run offense. I kind of feel like, honestly, I have Stevenson ahead of, or Dobbins ahead of Stevenson after this bye week. So I'm going to go with the Olave side. But it's so close.
And that's fair. Yeah, it is close, and that's fair, especially in an offense that runs the ball first. I think when I'm looking at in a PPR format, not that J.K. Dobbins doesn't get work in the air, I think I'm leaning on the Ramondre Stevenson's opportunity. And once Drake May, who I think we both believe is going to see the field, maybe this offense does get a little bit better. They've been struggling on injuries with the offensive line.
I'm not going to lie. I had that same thought for a long time, but their coaching staff is very strong-willed towards continuing to start Jacoby Brissett. I mean, they came out this week, said 100% he's our starter still. It's like, okay, like, are you saying that? Or is that...
I just think maybe it's going to get easier. Like, if they don't win this week, which they don't... Well, if they don't win this week against Miami, against their third string, a guy they just picked up off the street, and then they play Houston, I think we can see Drake May play against Jacksonville. I know the Jets are going to be a tough one, then Tennessee, then Chicago.
I thought they would do it this week versus Miami. That's why I'm like, all right, how long are you going to push it off for? But I can see both sides. Look, I lean Olave, Badaki leans London. I don't think there's a wrong answer here. But I appreciate the donation, man. Very, very kind of you. Hey, by the way, like goal today is 50 likes. If you haven't hit the like button, be a friend. Easy way to help the channel grow. Go ahead and hit that like button to show some love. The next question that I can see is from Apple Pie Monster. Wait. We already answered this one.
We already answered that. I think we're now, if we don't have any more questions.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're done here. Yeah.
Well, right? We're done. That's all the website questions. All the website questions, guys. We're gonna go in order now on YouTube in the super chats. We appreciate everyone for being patient. We're gonna go in order of super chats now, and once we're done, we're gonna go in order of the regular questions. And the first question I can see, super chat I can see, is from Bob France.
Not good, Bob. Not good.
Do I trade Reed for Chase? I mean, I feel like I'm a little bit biased here, but like,
you take Jamar Chase.
I think we can see how valuable Reed is, but I still believe in Jamar Chase.
I have Reed ranked as a top 10 receiver, but I'm still going to take Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I'm still going to take Jamar Chase, but I don't think that's a crazy question.
I don't think it is either. I really don't. But
I would say, like, if you want Reed, which looks like you're trying to get Chase right now, then maybe you should see if you can do like a 2-for-1. Like, if you had Chase and get Reed in like a small piece, like I don't know, maybe someone trades you like Reed and Deontay, or Reed and Calvin, or Reed and something. Anyways, the Dennis family, thank you so much for the super chat. How are you doing? He says, should I drop a Dunze for Wicks because Caleb Williams is not it, bro? I think we kind of spoke about it earlier, with this news of Christian Watson not going on this long-term injury.
It is kind of annoying, to be honest. Like,
I guess the real
it makes it not a full fab dump. It makes it, instead of like going 40-50% of your fab on Wicks, you got to pull back to like 20-25, maybe 30 if you want to guarantee. But here I know you and I have been on different sides with the Wicks train. We've been on different sides, but I truly believe he is the second most talented wide receiver there anyway. I think he's more talented than Dobbs. I think he's more talented than Watson. If he has 3 weeks to prove that again to this team, I think he could go ahead and outplay and produce Watson rest of the season anyway. And it's important to note that these guys were already splitting opportunities on the field. Like, it's not as if now Wicks gets opportunities just because Watson was out. He was already splitting opportunities with Watson. So the team is already conscious that he's a very good receiver. So look, I would keep a Dunze, but I really want Wicks on my roster. I do. Like, I would start Wicks over Dute this week.
Yeah, I do agree. And look, the reason why I'm kind of off, just to guys give you, I guess, some context on Wicks, is because I think if you watch that game, they were taking a lot of shots down the field to kind of pick up this pace from Wicks. And I do believe Romeo Doubs is going to be a little bit more valuable. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Doubs outscores Wicks going into this week without Christian Watson, because of this is going to be a different game pace. Wicks Jordan Love was trying to get the ball down the field early and quick so they can score, and Wicks was actually being successful in catching those big passes, which was great.
I definitely agree with like the sentiment of what you're saying, because versus the Rams, you're probably not going to be down the entire game. But here's where this is what's important to me looking at that game. Yeah, Jordan Love is not going to throw the ball 50 times a game. Like, it's just not going to happen. We all know that. But when he was throwing, who was he targeting heavily on purpose? And if you look at the targets, 26% of the target share for Dontavion Wicks. So if that comes down, to 40 attempts, 35, 26% of the targets from Jordan Love, that's a startable name every single week, regardless of how many times they throw, you know?
Yeah. So I guess the best constructive things that we can do for you is who you would drop. So if you have Jawan Jennings, I personally will drop Jawan Jennings for Dontavion Wicks. I'm not sure about Zach. What about Keon Coleman?
It'd be more helpful for him to tell us the other options he has. Otherwise, we'll just be wasting time, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess I was just trying to give him some constructive, like, I guess where we would stand. But yes, I get what you're saying. Daniel Wright, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, do I trade HN for AJ Brown? My wide receivers are London Dell. I have Rice. Going to pick up Wicks off waiver wires unless I do this trade and get Hunt for the rest of the season. Starting running backs will be Kyron and Hunt. I need help.
Ooh, I don't like Kyron and Hunt. I love Hunt as like an RB3 or 4 on your team. Don't love him as your 2. It's the indications are Hunt's the guy moving forward, but that could change. We know that.
I would say, like, I think I would be okay doing this trade if I can get somebody else, and it's not Kareem Hunt.
Well, I think Hunt is not a part of this trade. I think it's just like he's picking him up to play him.
If you can get, like, I would say I would do this trade if I can. How about this? Instead of before you do this trade, you try and do this trade with another running back kind of locked in. If you can trade for Brian Robinson, if you can trade for Aaron Jones, if you can trade for Monty, Tony Pollard. I don't know about Tony Pollard, but I'm just throwing names out there. Maybe you get Ramondre Stevenson on the low, because I think AJ Brown on a week-to-week basis, once he's back, especially with Rashee Rice in question, I think AJ Brown might be a little bit more valuable here for his team if you can get one of those running backs. But that's a big if.
So clearly, if we were to redo a fantasy draft today, I think AJ Brown's going to be drafted higher than Achane. But when Tua's back, will that be the case? I don't think so. If Tua was playing right now, I think we would value Achane over AJ Brown. So it's a matter of patience. Do you have the patience to wait on Achane? If not, and you want to start AJ Brown, well, you can't. He's on bye anyway. So that's something you have to consider as well. Do you need to win this week? Because you won't have AJ Brown if you trade for him, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the guy next week is probably not going to want to trade AJ Brown because AJ Brown will be healthy and playing. So it's like this, all these back and forths. By the way, that's AUD. So these guys are in Australia. What part of Australia are you in, Daniel? We always love to see people in Australia. Anyway, at the moment, I think I would just take AJ Brown, and I would still try and work the trade market just because AJ Brown has more value right now anyway.
Yeah, that's 100% what I would do. Once again, Brian Robinson, Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, Travis Etienne, who might be a good buy low right now with everything that's going on over there.
I'm losing faith rapidly.
Hugo, thank you so much for the super chat, man. He said, would you trade Justin Jefferson for Mason, Terry, and Worthy?
No.
If not, what range of players would you trade for? Rice injury hurt my 0 running back team.
I'm not going to trade for any wide receiver that is rumored in the Devontae Adams trade. Like, let's just start there. And the Commanders are. I know it sounds silly, but you don't need to take on that risk. What's the percentage the Commanders get Adams? Very low. But you don't need to take on that risk. It doesn't make sense for your roster. And we know CMC will be back at some point. that would make this trade completely useless to you. So if you want to do a trade like that, like I don't hate the idea, but you need to go out and get like a Godwin plus, let me think of a running back's name. Like a Godwin and a Mixon, could you do? That might be asking too much. A Godwin and
maybe we can't get Kenneth Walker now after that huge game.
But like Jacobs even. Godwin, James Cook off a bad game. Aaron Jones is probably tough to get right now, but yeah, you can throw ETN in there as well, or even like if you get like a J.K. Dobbins and you get, instead of Godwin, you move up to the names like you buy low on Tyreek right now or something.
I think doing the 3-for-1 is a good idea, but there's a lot of question marks. Like what happens if Rice does actually come back sooner rather than later? Where's Worthy's opportunity? And the same thing with the Terry situation and Adams. Yeah. What if Adams does go there? What happens if CMC goes there? There's a lot of question marks with these players that you're trying to acquire, where we just need to get solidified guys. Like Zach said, Joe Mixon, Godwin, or Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker. Once again, maybe those names aren't ideal, or James Cook. You just know that their value and their production are not going to fluctuate based off of something else that's going to be happening on their team.
Or even like a Dobbins Mixon. That's even more reasonable than this. So no, I just think you can't. I get the idea, but you can't get a hammer off your team if you're getting a bunch of unknowns rest of season. Yeah. And we love Mason. Mason's my RB1 this week, but there is that looming thing for any Mason owner. Ask anyone who owns Jordan Mason right now. You worried about CMC coming back? It's like, oh, the reports have been good, but yeah, I got bubble guts thinking about it. I mean, if they're honest with you. By the way, just quickly, 30 seconds or less, Twitter version. There's a lot of super chats. You guys are awesome. Do you feel like the Rashee Rice injury makes Xavier Worthy like a super smash start now, and he is like his value skyrockets up as a player in fantasy rest of the season? Just quickly, Twitter version.
If Rashee Rice is out for the rest of the season, I'm saying he is a mid wide receiver 2. I think that's my projection. He's not going to be this Rashee Rice. We're going to get, So
you're saying top 24 name?
Yeah, he could be a top 24 name, but he's not going to be a wide receiver 1 unless he solidifies himself in that way.
Okay.
That's my projection right now without Rashee Rice.
And I can see that. The way I view it personally is I don't think anything changes. I think they just...
Who gets the ball, though? Like, it's just Kelsey?
Travis. Go back and think what the Chiefs looked like last year before Rashee Rice broke out. It was Travis, and then 1 week it was Justin Watson. Juju, or that was 2 years ago. Juju did something, but he's on the team now. McCole Hardman had a game. MVS down the field. So I think he's obviously more appealing because of perceived targets available, but I just think the offense changes. Aiden is the next super chat here. I appreciate you, man. He says, should I drop Ridley for Sutton or Wicks?
Oh, Calvin Ridley is so frustrating. I have Calvin Ridley in the Flock League, and
it's hilarious the 1 week I put him on the bust video, as in like he could bust, is the 1 week he did well. Literally the only week he did well. And it was off fluke plays. I mean, I've been saying this. I don't have any faith in Calvin Ridley. But would you drop him for Wicks? I don't know.
I don't know if I'll drop him for Wicks. I think Wicks should be... Would I drop Ridley for either of those guys? No. I think Ridley should still be rostered, but Wicks should also be rostered.
Well, can we ask the question, actually? When does it get better for Calvin? But is Mason Rudolph going to change things? Is Will Levis magically going to get better?
No, I get it. I mean, they're going into a bye week. Maybe this is where you see a big adjustments.
I mean, he does have Indianapolis in week 6. That's definitely going to be like a start of the week for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't really know when there's no answer of when it gets better. It's like they need to get him the ball creatively, which they did in week 2 against the Jets, but they're not doing that these past 2 weeks, which is frustrating.
What I would rather do personally is package Calvin Ridley with another player and try and pull off a 2-for-1. So Ridley and a running back upgrade somewhere, Ridley and a tight end upgrade, Ridley and something an upgrade. Try and package those names and then go pick up Wicks with the free space. That's what I would try first. But I'm more as long as Christian Watson is out, I would start Dontavion Wicks over Ridley pretty much every week. But the issue is it doesn't look like a long-term injury for Christian Watson. Hopefully that is helpful. Hey, we did just get a question through the website. Hey guys, if you're planning on donating, first off, very kind of you. Thank you for doing that. Second thing I'll say is try the website if you haven't tried it out yet. Number one, you can get access to free expert rankings. So you can access to the league analyzer, the trade calculator, all for free just by using the promo code LAND when you create an account. And then you get discounts when you ask a question through the site. The site is a much better platform. It's much more complete for you to ask a question. And it helps us out because YouTube doesn't take 30% of your donation. So we have a website question here from, I can't even say that name. Let's just say Cub. And Cub says, JK, Gibbs, and Pollard all on bye, so he needs help setting his lineup this week. It's a 1-quarterback, 10-team start 7. He is starting Brock Purdy. So he's already got Glock Purdy there. He's got Brock Bowers as a tight end. By the way, Brock Bowers is going to go nuclear rest of the season. He's going to set records for rookie tight ends now that Devontae Adams is definitely moving on. That is crazy. Let's start at running back, okay?
Sure.
Dobbins on bye. Gibbs on bye. We'll start Josh Jacobs for sure.
Yep.
And then we'll start Ken Walker for sure, right?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Who does Walker play this week? I'm trying to remember.
The Giants.
Okay, yeah, definitely start Ken Walker.
Yeah.
I mean, he just had 30 points against the best rush defense in the NFL, so.
Yeah, so I agree. Josh Jacobs, and then Kenneth Walker. And at the wide receiver position, you can start 2. You have a couple different options here. For me,
Deontay is for sure in.
Yeah. For me is Deontay and then T. Higgins. And then if Joe Flacco plays, I'm going Michael Pittman over George Pickens and Tyreek Hill.
In the flex.
But if Anthony Richardson plays, I would go George Pickens, who plays the Cowboys this week on Monday night or Sunday night. Yeah. And they play at home. So that could be an interesting game. But yes, once again, Michael Pittman, if Joe Flacco plays, you start him with confidence, in my opinion. If not, if there's Anthony Richardson, you start George Pickens.
So I definitely agree with you. If Flacco plays, Pittman is a play here. If not, I'm still throwing Tyreek Hill out there personally. I'm still going to throw him out there over George Pickens.
Who's Tyreek Hill play this week again?
He plays the Patriots, which are a top 6 matchup for wide receivers right now. And ultimately, he was literally one play away from a 25-point game. It's just Huntley overthrew him. Hopefully, another week in the system. I can't play Pickens over Tyreek, and I love Pickens, but I definitely understand why that's probably a smart decision. I gotta go Tyreek there.
I understand.
But hopefully you were able to listen and watch the stream and hear both of our sides, and hopefully that's helpful, man. I appreciate you. Again, guys, if you haven't submitted a question to the site yet, check it out.
We did get another one, by the way.
There. Oh, did we get another one?
Yeah, I just got a refresh from Cole.
Oh, cool.
Cole World, we appreciate you, man. And it says 16-team PPR. Debating Hall, Rashid, and Cherry for Jonathan Taylor and Reed Thawks.
A 16-teamer, we got to think about that completely different to like these 10-team start 7 leagues.
Well, this is a 16-team start 7. Correct us if we're wrong here, Cole. Maybe you're in the YouTube chat, but let us know if we're wrong. Because if this is a start 7 in a 16-team league, give me the Jaden Reed, Jonathan Taylor side.
Well, to be honest, I don't even need I think any format,
without the
even
context.
16, like the Reed and Taylor side is by far superior in my opinion.
Yeah,
Jaden Reed looks like a league winner. He does,
dude. Come on, baby, talk it up. I got him in the flock league.
I love that for you, and I'm so glad he was injured when I played you, or Jordan Love was injured when
Jordan Love was injured. I know. Gosh, I could be undefeated if my team didn't get injured. Genuinely. Anyways,
I mean, look. It's not like I got lucked out in that win. I put up a shit ton of points, but you definitely would have had a much better shot with him.
Yeah.
But by the way, guys, if you want to ask a question to the site, again, I'll put a link in the chat there for you. Great experience for you. Otherwise, you can super chat, and if we don't have any of the super chats, we'll go to the regular questions. What's the next super chat?
Yeah, next super chat is from
B, right?
Yes, from B. He said, would you trade Godwin and Ayuk for Etienne Singletary?
No.
Absolutely not.
Not even close.
My other wide receivers are Chase, Marlon Harrison, Shakir. Running backs are AK, Chuba, Ford, Chandler.
Who is trying to convince you that Etienne and Singletary are worth Godwin and Ayuk? Whoever's trying to do that.
I said, do not want to have a solid RB2 down. I said, don't want to have a solid RB2 down the road. Like, you want to have a solid RB2 down the road,
I think
right?
That's what I'm say.
And I get that's what you're saying, but like Godwin and Ayuk are not worth Etienne and Singletary, especially the way
as in the opposite way, as in Godwin and Ayuk are worth way more.
Worth way more, exactly. So, if I'm looking at a running back, I'm looking like at a James Cook, an Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, a Kenneth Walker. Like I need
Henry's going to be
guarantee.
Impossible to get right now, but
yeah, I need an absolute guarantee in return. And those aren't absolute guarantee guys. So
no, I think whoever's trying to do this is trying to screw you over. I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea of moving these names. Ayuk, like I know it's not been good, but I don't think it's a good time to trade Ayuk personally. You can make a case for Godwin if you want, but yeah, no, you're not getting enough value there. OJ is the next question. I appreciate the donation, man. He says, traded Kamara for Justin Jefferson. Is that a win? Is that a loss? I know anything could happen, but I'd rather play it safe injury-wise with a wide receiver. I mean, no one has scored more points in fantasy than Alvin Kamara this year.
I think this also really depends on, like, this doesn't seem like a bad trade. But if you're telling me you trade away Alvin Kamara and now you have like a Devin Singletary and a Travis Etienne, like that's frustrating. Kind of like what we just saw in this last trade. But if you're saying like Alvin Kamara, you got at a good value in your draft and he was your third running back, he's probably not the guy we would have said to trade away for Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I think there's just a lot of context behind this that we don't know. That like, if we knew your team, maybe there's a reason why you did this, but if we're just looking at it right now, it's like it makes sense.
It's a pretty even deal, honestly. Like I actually I'd love to phone a friend here with the chat. Guys, if you were to do a fantasy draft again from scratch today, who would you draft first? So would you draft Alvin Kamara or Justin Jefferson in a PPR 12-team league? Who would be the person you draft first? Because I think it'd be pretty damn close. I really think it would. So this is kind of a scratch for me. The only thing I will say, and I know people are going to troll me for saying it, Kendre Miller will be back soon. I do feel like they have a role for him. I do. I feel like there is a role out there for Kendre Miller, so that is something to consider. But it is pretty it's pretty stretched across the board here from a lot of people. I mean, you can make the argument. A lot of people are saying Jefferson and Kamara, and someone mentioned, there's too many good wide receivers out there, which is totally fair. I mean, look, it is so close. I think this is an even trade. I really do.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that super chat there, OJ. We appreciate you. We did get another one on the website there from Manny.
Okay, I accidentally clicked on JT already, so let's do him real quick. Half PPR trade sure. Waddle and Kittle for Moss and Laporta.
Trade Waddle and Kittle for Moss and Laporta.
With the news that Tua is definitely coming back soon, I want to keep the Waddle side of this deal.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you'll regret that when Tua's back. Thanks for the donation, JT. Okay, guys, we did get a question through our website, which we will go to now. If you haven't tried it out yet, I'd encourage you to do so. Man, our website is incredible. We get to work with some great people over there, great developers. Everyone's on the same, mind direction. If you haven't signed up yet, use a promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, for a free account. You can get expert rankings for free. You can get the My Team Analyzer page, where you can kind of see how we would rank you against the rest of your league. You get the trade calculator. All that you can use for free with expert consensus rankings. Of course, if you want to use our rankings, you just got to get a membership. But so many great features over there that you can access for free. But we do have a question. So if you want to ask a question through the site, again, I'll put that link in the chat. This is from It's Manny. I appreciate you, Manny. He says, hey, guys, down to Braylon if Bijan doesn't start. Thoughts on this move and how I could upgrade the team. Okay, so yeah, right. So he's basically saying like if Bijan's out, I got to start Braylon.
So it looks like he has. Yeah, it's not a bad team. This looks like it might be. Is this a super flex team? Yeah, 2 quarterbacks: Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, Kenneth Walker, Braylon. If Bijan's out with.
Well, here's the good news.
Nico.
This is not a situation like AJ Brown where a hamstring comes up and he's not practicing. Bijan is practicing in limited fashion. That's like, to be honest, that's such a good sign this early into the week. Anything's possible still, but knowing that their game is on Thursday and that he is practicing, that is so important. And I think this is like a projected practice, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. I think it is projected practice.
That's still such a good sign.
I would say since this is a 10-man league, there should be opportunities to pick up players on the waiver wires. Like if Bijan doesn't play,
it's a great point.
Maybe if you do, Kareem, or maybe even Tyler Algier, he might be available in a 10-man league. Like I might be willing to start Tyler Algier. He had a decent game this past week.
If Bijan is out, sure.
If Bijan is out, because like I think we would all. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but we would start Tyler Algier over the Braylon Allens, the Bucky Irving,
if he's
the
a starter.
Austin Ecklers, the maybe even Chuba Hubbard, just because of those opportunities we're kind of projecting him getting. So that's probably the first constructive thing I can tell you to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's not the end of the world if Braylon, you have to start him. He's getting consistent opportunities. And in a 10 team, I'm not gonna like panic and make a trade just because one of my players might not be available this week. I think that's the wrong process, especially in a smaller league. You're in a start 7. That's as small as your roster can be. You're in a 10 team. 8 team is the only, as small as it can get. So you're a smaller league as well. You want those hammers on your team. You want superstars. Don't go panic trading because one of yours might not be available. Last thing I'll say is, would you start Xavier Worthy or Dontavion Wicks this week? Because for me, I would start Dontavion Wicks.
Would you start Xavier Worthy or Dontavion Wicks? Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
Dontavion Wicks versus Minnesota, which is a top 5 matchup for fantasy wide receivers. Worthy versus I can't remember who they play this week.
They play the Saints at home. I personally just think that Worthy is needed more in this offense. So I would go Xavier Worthy this week. Where I'm not saying Dontavion Wicks is not, but you have Josh Jacobs, you have Dobbs, you have Reed. Now you have Tucker Kraft, who's getting a shit ton of work out of nowhere. So like Jordan Love knows how to spread the ball around. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes.
He says he's starting both. Okay. Well, then this wouldn't be a start 7. If you're starting Chase, Wicks, Nico, and Worthy, you're probably going to start 8. But okay, that's great then. That's great that you're starting both. But overall, the sentiment remains on how we'd operate moving forward, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to trade any of these names away, to be honest, man. These are all superstars. You're killing it.
You did well here.
Appreciate the question over on the website. If you guys plan on super chatting, check out the website first. It's a great way for you to ask a question. It's better for you, and it's better for us because YouTube doesn't take 30% of your donation away from us. But we appreciate it. You guys, let's get back to the super chats. What's the next one that's available?
Nino Pena here. He says trade Andrews and Brian Thomas Jr. for McBride in a 10-man league.
Andrews looks so bad.
Thank you for your service, man. We really appreciate you and everything you've done here in the past. But 2 goose eggs in 2 weeks. I mean, to be fair, the first one he wasn't needed. I guess this game against Buffalo early, there was opportunity for him to be needed, but like I'm taking the McBride side just because in a 10-man league, I'm pretty sure the depth for your team should be okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like I've said this a couple times this week. I think we have to reassess some of these names. Brian Thomas Jr. is one of them. Like, I remember saying before the season, people were like, "Why are you drafting?" And I guess I am victory lapping. Sorry, but remember on our live stream when we did the Alpha Leagues, why are you drafting Brian Thomas so early? I kept saying I think he's got top 15 upside. Do you know where he's ranked right now? His finish right now?
Like on wide receivers finish, like through 4 weeks.
Yeah,
I think he's inside the top 15. Surely he had 2 big games.
Yes, he is a wide receiver 14, and he is getting 9 targets per game in the last 2 weeks as a rookie who can only get better. His role can only grow. So I'm concerned. if you trade away Brian Thomas, you might be trading away a league winner and not realizing it. Sure. I need to counter this trade and make it a different name. I love this idea. I don't like the name. Needs to be a different name. By the way, we will get to the next super chat here, but Birds Build says, do you guys give Dynasty advice too? This is a great segue for us to let you guys know that we do have a Dynasty channel. A lot of you guys might not know that, but we in the off season when fantasy isn't really thriving in redraft, we are constantly pumping out content over on Dynastyland Football. So if you don't know that yet, definitely go subscribe.
Yeah, we're live there almost every day throughout the off season, or every other day in the off season, doing rookie mock drafts, telling you about the 2025 dynasty teams, so like
videos,
absolutely.
So definitely go subscribe to our Dynasty channel. If you play Dynasty, if you don't yet, it's very fun. So go subscribe to check it out. But let's get back to some of these questions though. What was the next one?
Yeah, obsessed with success. Come on, talk it up. He said give Deontay for Brooks or Debo. Let's start there. Deontay for Brooks. Oh well, actually, we probably have to read the whole question. It says wide receivers or Debo/Rico for Cup. Got Wicks and Shakira to fill in. Wide receivers are CD, Deontay, Debo, Jason, Shakira, Wicks. Full PPR, 2 flex, year 2 and 2.
I think Deontay Johnson right now is far more valuable than Jonathan Brooks. I mean, Jonathan Brooks
I would
is
agree.
Perceived value. He's what could be. Right now, Deontay's a top 12 start every single week with Andy Dalton starting. And I am so nervous that they're going to go back to Bryce Young. Please don't do it.
I don't know. I don't know if you heard the report of like Jonathan Brooks window, like practice window's not open. Okay. So still 4 weeks
still on IR.
Still on IR. Which is a little bit frustrating because like you were kind of hoping like, hey man, you had a whole month to kind of get healthy. Like what's going on now? But I mean, obviously every injury is different. Every player is different. Maybe they don't want to rush it because they're finding success with Chuba right now. So it's like, you know what? You continue to take your time.
There's no reason, which is tough if you're a Brooks owner. But I do think when he's healthy and himself, he will be the starter there. But yeah, Deontay is just far more valuable right now. The other option is Debo and Rico for Cup. And if I don't need Rico and my running backs are just completely chilling, I think that's a 200 IQ move, but you're going to have to be patient. If you're going to trade Debo and Rico for Cup right now, I think you're going to love yourself in a couple weeks, but you got to be patient until Cup is back because he won't be back this week. But I think you'll like when Cup is healthy, he's the top 5 wide receiver for me rest of season.
Yeah, I hear you. I understand. Hopefully that helps.
We got another question through the website, by the way. So,
okay,
we will go to the website here. I actually put the Dynastyland link there. But again, guys, if you want to check out our website, use the promo code LAND. You'll get a free account. So many cool features you can access for free over there. But obviously, these people are asking questions through the site. Appreciate you. This is from Dan Nerd. Says, in need of a running back desperately. It's a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 9.
No.
We just talked about Brian Thomas, didn't we?
No.
Yeah, no, you can't do this, man. You can't give up Brian Thomas.
You would. I think anyone should probably tell you that you should be keeping Brian Thomas over Lazard. Once again, you're getting a question mark wide receiver. What if Devontae Adams goes there? I know J.K. Dobbins gets the ball a lot.
Well, Mike Williams is getting
Mike Williams is getting the role as well. So, like, yeah, I would just personally say you keep Brian Thomas, like Zach said, top 15 player with past 4 weeks. And Rico did score double-digit points. That's probably why this guy's probably trying to sell Rico Dotto high to you here. No, thank you.
No, but let's try and think of a counter.
Yeah, do that.
Instead of including, man, his team is stacked. This is a 10-team league. Okay, this makes more sense. Dude, his team is stacked. Wow. I mean, there you go. Let's try Addison. That feels more fair to me, but I still think you're not getting the best part of the deal here. Add in Austin Eckler here and throw him Raheem Mostert or something.
Sure.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That feels much more fair. Because I would say Dobbins and Addison I'd ranked very close rest of season.
Yeah.
And then I think Eckler is a startable running back, so that feels better.
I think it's just really hard. It's just really hard with Raheem right now because no one wants to trade for Raheem because he's been injured, especially with now Jalen Wright. We saw him getting a lot of opportunities last night, but that was because Jeff Wilson wasn't 100%. He got injured in pregame warmup. So
the other option is to remove Rico entirely and just make it an Addison J.K. Dobbins trade straight up.
Sure.
That's the other option. Right?
It's the 10-man league here. Is it? Like, I mean, I'm still picking up running backs though. Like in a 10-man league, is the names like, yeah, I don't know if I'm doing a trade because I still would rather have Addison over J.K. Dobbins long term. I think he's on a great offense. If he does get some more workload coming in off of that injury, I'd rather do that. But like, if you're telling me, once again, it's not exciting, but if you're telling me in a 10-man league, Kareem Hunt's available, Tank Bigsby available. I mean, these guys aren't startable, but like I would just try and play one of those guys in a desperation if you need. Like,
I think, it's an interesting point. I think this is just another example of you and I viewing Dobbins and his value differently, which has been the case this week, I've realized. So yeah, I think that's just a part where you and I just disagree on the value of Dobbins moving forward after this week specifically. But you've got two different minds here, two different ideas and opinions, and hopefully that helps moving forward.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
Definitely don't send Brian Thomas, though. Definitely don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
Appreciate you, man. I think we got another question. Let me double check, or is it a team review?
It's a team review here from Max Shea.
Which is incredible. We are going to look at this, but let's get through the super chats just first because these team reviews take a little bit longer. We're definitely going to look at this on the stream. Again, if you guys want your team reviewed, if you want to ask a question through the site, whatever the case may be, check out our website. You can get a free membership, 7-day free trial, free access to the trade calculator, rankings. Now, some of the features on the site are obviously only for members, but go check it out. But let's get to some of these super chats here.
Yeah, the next super chat here is from Perry Leonard. He said 10-man start 7. Jordan Mason and James Conner bench is Dowdle, Bucky, and Rashad White, Braylon Allen, Chase Brown, Kareem Hunt, Madison all available. What am I doing rest of season? So if you have Jordan Mason and James Conner and your bench is Dowdle, Bucky, Rashad White, Braylon Allen, Chase Brown, Kareem Hunt, and Madison all available.
Oh, okay. Wait. Bench is Dowdle. Okay, so Braylon, Chase Brown, Hunt, Madison, all available. I'd pick up Kareem Hunt for sure.
Mm-hmm.
In order of my pickups, it would be Hunt, Braylon, Chase, Madison. But all great options to pick up. And Madison is sneaky. He'll be on the stash video tomorrow. I'll talk about it, but
come on, baby. I got Alexander Madison. Talk about.
I think Danny spent a bunch of fab on him and then dropped him in the league.
Yeah, I know.
I think Danny has no fab left, by the way.
GG's.
If I'm remembering correctly. Anyway.
I appreciate that super chat there, Perry. Thank you so much. Antonio, he says, "What's up, boys? Ayuk or London this week?" And I know London does play on Thursday night, so that might be a tougher matchup. Ayuk playing the Cardinals. I'll be honest, man. I feel like Ayuk is the guy that you should be starting, but he's been disappointing since he's been on the field. And
bro, every week Ayuk does bad, I feel better about that trade in the Flock League. I'm just like, justification. I still think he can be a superstar, though. I do.
I agree. I just feel like with the recent play, it's like I need to go with the person that with the most consistent.
You think he's moving into like the category of prove it now before I play you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, he technically had, you can scratch week 1, but he technically had 3 weeks and he hasn't proved it at all. Drake London has 3 games with over double-digit fantasy points. So that's kind of where I'm at. But this could be the week where Ayuk goes off and he has 20 points, which is frustrating. But I'm going with what I know is consistent right now. I mean, wide receiver 59 on the year, Drake London, wide receiver 23. You have to go London, in my opinion.
I don't think you have to, but I definitely get where you're coming from as like the sense of like He's proven it more.
Yeah.
I'm still going Ayuk. I know that probably sounds crazy, but
no,
I'd rather face the Cardinals. I just feel like there's a breakout week coming, but and I also, I mean, I remember a couple years ago you were like, dude, I don't want to play players on Thursday Night Football. I hate it. It just feels like there's something wrong.
I still feel that way.
And I was gonna say, like, to give you credit, I feel that way so strongly now. I very rarely want to play players on Thursday night if I have a different option, and there's not 100%. Much analysis behind that. It's just not fun. Jamie,
exactly, it's not fun.
Jamie is the next super chat here. It says, would you trade Jefferson and Fields for Saquon? Full PPR have London, Higgins, Deontay, Gibbs, Achane, Jaden Daniels. Would you trade Jefferson and Fields for Saquon? I'm assuming this is one quarterback because in Superflex, no way.
Would you trade Jefferson and Fields and you have London, Higgins, Deontay? So
he has Gibbs and Achane. I don't think you need to make this move though.
I would say this. If you want Saquon, you keep Saquon and you can keep Gibbs and then sell Achane for a wide receiver. But you can't do that right now.
He's getting Saquon though.
And that's what I'm saying. You have the 3 running backs and then you sell one of the 3 to get somebody else.
Like a Justin Jefferson?
Exactly. But I was going to say it's kind of counteractive. It's kind of counteractive just because like you're trading away the guy that you should already have. I would say this. My other thought process here was like your wide receivers, in my opinion, aren't the strongest. Like T. Higgins still hasn't proved himself. I do think Drake London is going to have inconsistencies. And Deontay, what happens if they go back to Bryce Young? So there's question marks for all of these players, and Justin Jefferson has none. So I think
you have a bunch of receivers that you really want to be your number 2. You don't like if you lose Jefferson, you don't have that number 1. Oddly enough, if Andy Dalton started every game, I would probably rank Deontay as a top 10 wide receiver rest of the season, but we don't know that that's going to happen. But in a vacuum, Saquon's probably more valuable rest of the season than Jefferson is because of the scarcity at running back.
Did the Panthers win this week? No, they lost.
No, they lost. But I'm going to stick with Jefferson for now.
I agree. I'm sticking with Jefferson as well. Demetrios, how you doing, brother? He said, lost Rice, pick up Wicks or Pittman. Rest of season, I want Pittman, surprisingly. Now, if... How can I answer this? Rest of season, I want Pittman. This week, if Joe Flacco plays, I want Michael Pittman over Wicks. That's the best way I can answer this question.
You mean if Anthony Richardson plays?
Okay,
right.
There's 3 different answers technically. I want to start Dontavion Wicks this week over Michael Pittman if Anthony Richardson is playing at quarterback. If Joe Flacco is playing at quarterback, I want to pick up Michael Pittman over Dontavion Wicks. Rest of season, I still would rather have Michael Pittman. I don't know what the right move is here.
Here's my issue. So this week, we keep talking about this week, right? And it's fair.
Sure.
But this week, if Joe Flacco's plays, yes, I want to start Pittman over Wicks. Here's my concern. If you told me that every other week beyond this week, Joe Flacco is not playing and it's Anthony Richardson starting, I think there's a good case to be made for Wicks. Rest of season, Wicks is starting with Jordan Love, and on the other side, you have Pittman with Anthony Richardson. Every time I'm going Wicks, but this week, if I knew Flacco was there, I'm going Pittman. And if I knew at some point Flacco became the permanent starter, which I just don't see happening because they want to develop A-Rich, they had such a high investment in him, and they're not stupid like the Panthers. So look, I guess Pittman is the better pickup, but man, it's close.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I wish I knew if A-Rich was playing right. I wish I knew the future, honestly.
Gosh, if you knew the future, I wouldn't be doing this. I'll tell you that much. Anyways.
Wow, I would.
I mean, I
love doing this.
I'll be living my life somewhere else on the beach if I knew the future. I'll be millionaire, billionaire. I got money everywhere. I'm hitting my bets every time. You know?
Yeah.
Why am I working?
I mean, I love doing this. That's why I'm doing it.
I love doing it as well. I'm
what
just saying,
what you just heard is Badaki's doing it for money. That's what you just heard.
I mean,
I'm joking.
So are you. Anyways,
I'm also doing it because I love it.
Yes, I understand. I understand.
We got a question here on the website from Saul. I appreciate you, Saul. If you guys haven't checked out the website, check it out. You can ask a question through it. It's awesome. But Saul, it's a trade question. One side gets Tyreek and Achane. The other side gets Chase and Taylor.
So you are trading away Tyreek Hill and Devon here, and you're going to get Jamar Chase and Jonathan Taylor.
12 teams, start 7, half PPR.
I just want to know your record. Like, if I'm 3-1 right now, I'm rolling the dice. I'm rolling the dice, and I'm keeping Tyreek Hill and Devon. But if you need an absolute win,
well, if you need a win, Taylor's not going to play most likely.
Sure, you're absolutely right there as well.
That's tough.
That is tough. Like, that's kind of why that's kind of why I was leaning. That's kind of why I was leaning Jamar Chase and JT, because I was like, yeah, man, I need to win. I'm 1-3 or 0-4. I just need something. That's the best way I can answer this.
If I knew
so
that,
say he's 3-1. If you're 3-1, I'm keeping Tyreek Hill and Devon. Because hypothetically, if you do lose, let's just say worst case scenario, you don't win any games. You're 3-4. Tua comes back. You're going on a streak, brother. You are going on a streak with Devon and Tyreek.
Yeah. So remember, Tua went on the IR week 3. So 1, 2, 3. The bye week he doesn't count. Week 7 is his last week on the IR, and he comes back versus Arizona week 8. And you're right.
Saying. So like 3-4, worst case.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back and Tyreek Hill and Devon plays with Tua.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like, so if Tua came back today, would you prefer Tyreek over Chase?
Yes.
Same. If Tua came back today, would you prefer Achane over Taylor?
Yes.
Same. So that settles it then.
Yep.
But it's very close.
It's very close.
Continue to roll the
dice. I'll keep him.
Yeah, I appreciate that question through the site, though. That's very kind, guys. Keep in mind, if you don't know, we love YouTube. We love Super Chats, but YouTube takes about 30% of your donation. The Flock site's a better experience for you, and it's very helpful for us. The next donation is from TRCXS. Very kind of you. Says, trade AJ for Achane and Kirk. Wide receivers are Lamb, DK, AJ. 12-man league. I'm shallow on running back and have Worthy with Wandale on the bench. It feels like that shouldn't be what Achane costs right now.
No.
Given his recent string of games.
I mean, look, I think I know why, because AJ Brown is injured and he's on a bye week. So it's like, look, I'm trading for an injured player and he's not going to play this week. So I understand it because I am an AJ Brown owner. But I don't think Achane is. Running backs are shallow. Who are you running back?
2-2, by the way. Have Sharb, Irving, Jacobs, Jonathan Brooks.
Right.
Dude, I honestly don't like this deal though. I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kirk is a startable name, but no, I just don't think I can do that. I mean, I feel like Kirk needs to be someone else, and I know he's been better, but I feel like Kirk needs to be like an Ayuk who's struggling right now. Can you get Puka from that team, or Kupp if they have a, on the low? Amari Cooper, Devonta Smith, Higgins. I don't know. That's tough. He says on the Flock website, in our league projections by 5K rating, he's number 1. Yeah. And look, I just don't think you're extracting as much value from AJ as you should be. That's my overall opinion.
Yeah, what I would be trying to do here is probably try to sell Worthy high for a running back, and just wait for AJ Brown. I don't know what Worthy's value is going to be, but like I think it just depends.
Can you package Worthy and Brooks? No, let's keep Brooks. Could you package Worthy and Irving and go out there and get a Brian Robinson, a James Conner,
maybe
a James Cook? Walker's probably impossible, but Monty's probably impossible. But I'd try that first.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Thank you so much for that super chat, though. We really appreciate you. Zell TV, he says Kittle for Fields. Love QB1 Wicks over. Okay, so Kittle for Fields with Love at quarterback.
Is this a one quarterback league?
If this is one quarterback, there's no point of training for Justin Fields, in my opinion. Because if you're worried about bye weeks, I'm just going to go and pick up quarterback during Jordan Love's bye week.
If this is a one quarterback league, Fields is nowhere near Kittle's value, especially with how difficult it is to get a tight end. So we're heavy on the Kittle side there.
And then
Wicks over Mike.
Wicks over Mike at flex. Is it? I mean, Mike Evans, Mike Williams.
Oh, Mike Evans, no. Start Mike Evans.
Mike Williams.
Yes, you start Wicks over Mike Williams.
Yeah, hopefully that helps. Brandon, he said trade Monty Cooper for Kenneth Walker.
Amari Cooper? No, I mean I wouldn't do this. I would still say Monty and Kenneth have a similar value rest of season.
I agree. And even if Amari Cooper is traded, I think his situation is only going to get better. Hypothetically, he goes to the Chiefs, only going to get better. Right. So I would keep Monty and Cooper there.
We did just get a question through the website, but yeah, Brandon, we wouldn't do that. Don't feel like you're extracting as much value. It seems like you do this because you want to upgrade from Monty, but Monty looks like a superstar right now. I mean, I don't think it's as big of an upgrade as you might think. We did get a question through the website. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, I'll put a link in the chat. It's also the pinned comment. But we got a question here from Bentley. And how you doing? It's a start sit. It's a 12-team start 8 PPR no tight end premium. Monty and Pollard on bye. Also for my RB2, should I grab Kareem Hunt or Sermon? It would be Kareem Hunt because I think he's a long-term value for me.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's help him figure out his running back spot here. He's flexing Olave Ayuk. He's starting Lamb Harrison. Ramondre is his starting running back with Pollard and Monty on bye. And then we can choose between Charbonnet, Bucky, Braylon, and Rico, which are all probably in a very similar tier. But I think Charbonnet is the one I'm not considering of these names.
Yeah. It's between Braylon Allen and Bucky for me.
How about Rico? Oh, Rico's got a terrible matchup. No, you're right. Braylon Allen and Bucky. You're right. That's the play.
So Braylon Allen going against the Vikings, which is a tough defense. Keep that in mind so far. And Bucky Irving going against the Falcons. This is a divisional matchup here. So I'm actually going to be going Bucky here.
Yeah, I think so too. But man, it's close.
And Bucky has been looking decent, right? He's been getting a little bit work in the air. He's been getting nearly double-digit opportunities on the ground for the past 2 weeks. So, yeah.
I'm gonna go Bucky with you. The thing is, like Brees is gonna out-touch Braylon every game if Brees is healthy, but Bucky, it looks like a true split right now.
Exactly. So.
And then Rico at quarterback, we have to choose between Brock Purdy and CJ Stroud. Big clock Brock. Funnily enough, Brock Purdy was one of the names that we said to target in drafts later on instead of drafting CJ Stroud. How's that working so far? Purdy is a 13th quarterback. Stroud's 11, so you're getting something very similar. One faces Buffalo, one faces Arizona.
I mean,
Tank Dell's back.
For me, this would be CJ Stroud just based off of game script that I'm projecting. I think for sure game script could be decent for the Cardinals and San Francisco game. That's a divisional matchup. But going against Josh Allen at home, for CJ Stroud just feels like a matchup that I just want a part of. I want to see 3 to 4 touchdowns. I feel like that's what we can both project out of this game. Maybe for either quarterbacks would be a high scoring game. So, give me CJ Stroud this week.
I'm gonna slightly lean Purdy. I think just that matchup is super juicy in my opinion. I mean, the Bills right now, if I'm not mistaken, they give up the fewest points to wide receivers, second fewest points to wide receivers.
Yeah.
And to quarterbacks, where are the Bills at? They're bottom third. So I just would rather chase the Cardinals, who is a top 4 matchup for quarterbacks. But I can definitely understand, CJ's the better player technically. For me, it would be Purdy. For Badaki, it'd be Stroud. But there's not a wrong answer there. So hopefully that is helpful, man. Appreciate you, Bentley. Thanks for the donation over here on the website.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. We're going to answer super chats on YouTube, guys. We're going order on super chats on YouTube. If not, we're going to go then to the regular questions. But we appreciate all the support. Demetrios is the next super chat in order. Start 2 running backs: Allen, Akers, Irving.
Well, this is kind of funny because we almost just had that same conversation on the website. Hey.
Sure. I would say, look, if Joe Mixon's not playing, then you know your answer, right?
Do we though? Because it's been bad 2 weeks in a row now with Akers as a starter.
I mean, yeah. I just feel like, once again, still on the better offense. But I do get what you're saying. Like, Allen or Irving.
Dare Ogunbowale played 39% of the snaps, and Akers played 40% of the snaps last week. I know, man. I just don't think I can start Akers.
I start Dare Ogunbowale. I dropped him to pick up somebody else, and I was like, damn. Anyways,
it's probably not a long-term play anyway.
Yeah, no.
I'm going Allen and Irving here personally.
Okay, I
fool me once,
Akers and Irving.
Shame on me. Fool me twice. Fool me 3 times. Not happening, Cam.
Not happening, Cam. Chico, appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, would you drop one of these guys for Wick, Shakir, Keenan, J-Mo, or even Ayuk? Dude is killing me half PPR.
Oh. Keenan is actually really interesting.
That's what I was going to say. Would you drop Keenan Allen for Dontavion Wicks? I would drop Keenan Allen for Dontavion Wicks for sure. Only 3 targets this past week, 68% of the snap share. And honestly, like, Caleb Williams is struggling. Like, let's just be honest. He's struggling. He can't get the balls to his receivers. And Dontavion Wicks is just playing with the better quarterback at the moment. So,
yeah.
I'm keeping everyone though. So, I'm not dropping Shakir. I'm not dropping J-Mo. I'm not dropping Ayuk.
In an ideal world, you don't lose Keenan. And, yes, he's coming off an injury. You can make as many excuses as you want for it. And, certainly there will be games where Keenan's going to be good. But here's the issue, guys. DJ Moore has been healthy the entire year. DJ Moore is getting more valuable targets than Keenan Allen. DJ Moore's ceiling has been completely limited. What is the quality of the targets you're getting? And for right now with Keenan, with Rome Odunze becoming a more important part of the offense, Keenan is no longer a threat in 2 wide receiver sets. Odunze has overtaken him. It's just like you're kind of holding on to him because he's a name. In 12-team leagues, we all would not drop Keenan Allen. It doesn't sound like this guy's in a 12-team league. It sounds like he's in an 8 or a 10-team league because his bench is so deep. So in that scenario, I think it's worth picking up Wicks to see what he would be.
Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know how to pronounce this, but let's give it a go. Miko. Appreciate you. He says 2-2, 12-team PPR. Your quarterbacks are Love and Fields. Running backs are Achane, Hall, Bucky, Allen, Big O, Roscoe. Your wide receivers are Rice, Neighbors, Adams, Tank, Rome, J-Mo, Kittle. Any ideas? Was looking at Hall for Hill/Mixon. Open to ideas. Okay, so
I mean, first off, if you can trade Breece Hall for Tyreek Hill and Joe Mixon, you do that in a heartbeat. I don't know if you're saying one or the other.
I would agree.
But yeah, if you can get that done, that's a no-brainer for sure. Losing Rice is definitely tough.
I think the guy that I would be trying to sell, which I did bring on the shorts channel, because I was kind of projecting him to after all that turmoil happened at the end of week 3, and then he gets injured. It's like you need to sell Davante Adams. Now, what can you get for Davante Adams? I'm not necessarily sure.
It's gonna be hard to do that right now.
According to Fantasy Pros rest of season rankings here, once again, I use this as a reference just because that's what my home league does. Maybe your home league does the same thing. Players that going ahead and below Davante Adams, Deebo Samuels, George Pickens, Brandon Ayuk, those are 3 players ahead of him. 3 players underneath him: DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, Michael Pittman. Let me ask you this: would you want Davante Adams or Brian Thomas?
I don't know. This is what's tough, because if you're trying to trade Adams, people are like, I don't know where he's going. You know what I mean?
Let's say he goes to the best case scenario. He goes either to the Chiefs or he goes to Aaron Rodgers in the Jets. Brian Thomas or Davante Adams?
Davante Adams if he goes to Aaron Rodgers, of course.
Davante Adams or T. Higgins?
What happens if he goes to Washington or Pittsburgh?
Sure. Yeah, we can do both. Like, obviously that's going to take a longer time, but like I get what you're saying.
Anyway,
like
it's tough. Look, I would not be opposed to selling Breece Hall. If you can do like a Mixon Hill package like you talked about, or even like Mixon Deontay right now, who's playing really well. People might be worried about Bryce Young coming back. Those are some options there.
He said 2-for-1 type deals. He says looking to add depth at wide receiver while keeping a running back, so a 2-for-1 type package.
Yeah, Mixon would be incredible if you could get him. I'd also throw out like James Cook coming off a bad game, Brian Thomas, like those type of names, and packaging them. Like I would even do like J.K. Dobbins if you're selling Breece Hall. If I could get J.K. Dobbins and Jaden Reed, for example, I'd do that. J.K. Dobbins and Cooper Kupp, who's coming back from an injury at some point, I'd do that. J.K. Dobbins and like Tyreek Hill, who's coming back from an injury soon, I'd do that. Just giving you like some options there. That's like some of the ideas I'd have.
Yeah, thank you so much for that super chat. We really appreciate it.
By the way, I'll be back in a couple minutes, but you'll be on your own here with these super chats for a second. Sorry, guys.
Sure, no worries. The next super chat I can see here is Rock Out, We Cock Out. Sorry, family friendly stream. He says, who to put in your priority first? Who to put your priority in first, Wicks or Fields? My quarterbacks are Purdy, Carr, Tua on IR. Wide receivers are Evan, Higgins, JMO. I guess the biggest question is, Rock, is who are your quarterbacks? And is this a start two or start like a super flex league? Because if this is a super flex league, I probably would be prioritizing Justin Fields over Dontavion Wicks. But if this is one quarterback league, it's Dontavion Wicks, personally. Because at the moment, I would be starting Purdy and Fields in a super flex league specifically this week. So hopefully that helps. So once again, super flex, I want Fields. One quarterback is everyday Dontavion Wicks. Daniel Wright, thank you so much for the super chat here. He says, I also got Chase Brown on my bench from previous question. Kyron and Brown rest of season. Daniel Wright, I need to go back and look at that context of that question. So let's see. Let's see if I can find that, if that's still even available. Okay, he says, so I trade HN for AJ Brown. My wide receivers in London Dell. I have Rice. Going to pick up Wicks off waiver wires. Unless I do this trade, I get Hunt rest of season. You also have Chase Brown on your bench from your previous question. So Kyron and Chase Brown rest of season. Okay, yeah. I think if I remember correctly, we said we would keep AJ Brown. Gosh, we answered so many questions. And having Kareem Hunt rest of season, I would definitely keep him. But if you have Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, and Brown rest of season, I would take that chance and see if you can get Kareem Hunt off of waiver wires. So hopefully that helps there, Daniel. Thank you so much for that super chat. Brett, thank you so much. He says, what do I do with Mahomes? Trade him, Fields on waiver wires. I think Mahomes does turn into a week-to-week type of play, like what's going to be happening with Patrick Mahomes. Like honestly, this week, I would start Justin Fields over Patrick Mahomes just based off of the matchup. And I know that sounds crazy, but the Dallas Cowboys currently give up the 11th most points to the wide receiver position, where the Saints currently give up the one, two, three, fourth fewest points to the quarterback position. I said wide receiver, so to the quarterback position. So look, I understand you start your stars. Patrick Mahomes is a star. He loses Rashee Rice. What is this offense going to look like? I think Zach and I will both say, look, we understand Patrick Mahomes, but Justin Fields has just been outperforming him so far this year. Patrick Mahomes on the season, wide receiver 15 or quarterback 15. He's averaging 15 and a half fantasy points. Justin Fields in 4 weeks, quarterback 6, averaging 18.7 fantasy points. So there is opportunity. Now, do you drop Patrick Mahomes for Justin Fields? Absolutely not. But if you do have an extra waiver wire spot or extra spot on your bench, you pick up Justin Fields. So hopefully that helps. Harrison Sharp, how you doing? He said trade a second for Brian Robinson. I have Achane, Barkley, Brooks. Need to start Elliott if I don't trade these two next week with buys, but also have a first for Henry is better. Ooh. Okay. There's two different things I would say here, Harrison. You're competing. You have Achane and Barkley. You don't have anyone else. And this is clearly a dynasty league, which means I'm assuming the waiver wires are essentially non-existent. So doing this trade, I would trade a second for Brian Robinson. I wouldn't trade a first for Henry. Why? Because if you're talking about a 2025 class or 25 first specifically, and that's kind of what I've been saying all off season or going into this season, it was like, if you have a 25 first and you need running back, you are only trading for the superstars. You're only trading for the Gibbs, the Bijans. You're not trading for anyone else. And Henry has been great, and he is probably worth a first, and he probably wants to compete, but I'm not giving up my 25 first specifically because of this running back class that might be the best class since 2019 or 2017. I forgot the class. So I would just, it's 2019. So I would just hold the first, and I would trade Brian Robinson, or trade the second for Brian Robinson if that is a late second. ETL, thank you so much. This is your first super chat. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that. He says, who would be better streamer while JT is hurt? I have Kyron as RB1, Hunt, Chase Brown, or Trey Sermon. For me, this would be Kareem Hunt. In that, so it'll be Kareem Hunt, Trey Sermon, and Trace Brown. Now, ETL is a super chat here, and this is a great question for Zach, because I think there's an argument if Joe Flacco was playing, I might potentially want to start Trey Sermon over Kareem Hunt. Just this week. I said this.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Just
That's
this
how
week,
I had it in today's video as well. No, I agree.
Just based off the matchup, like I love Kareem Hunt. He's going to take over this backfield. But if Joe Flacco plays and Jonathan Taylor is out, Trey Sermon is a phenomenal matchup against the Jags.
Absolutely. You got to play Trey Sermon in that scenario.
Yeah, so
he'll be the number one there in a good offense behind a good offensive line. Skeeter,
yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the donation. How much fab should I put on Wix? I have Reed. I think, really, to be honest, like it all comes down to your league. For example, if you're in like a 8-team league, I don't know. Look, if I knew Christian Watson was missing 4 games, I'd put like 35% of my fab, 40% of my fab. But we don't know that for sure at this moment, so it's more like 20-25% at this point. That's what I would say.
I agree. Jake Johnson, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, so I trade Nico for Tyreek. I'm 3-1. No, I think I'm still
keep Nico. Yeah,
I'm still keeping Nico as much as I love Tyreek there, especially with Tua. Jacob Rodriguez, he says Swift at my flex over Tank Dell Downs or Wandell. This is a tough question because he's playing the Panthers. Panthers give it the second most points. I don't know, man. I think the argument here is Josh Downs. You correct me if I'm wrong.
If Flacco's playing?
If Flacco's playing, are you starting Josh Downs over? I would be starting Josh Downs over Tank Dell.
Right.
And over DeAndre Swift.
Swift has a pretty good matchup, though.
He does. He has a great matchup. But so does
I
the
think
Colts.
Swift is the play here, to be honest. I just don't want to mess around. I'll put Swift in there. I really thought Rashawn was going to take over that backfield, but I think they found their new identity. Finally, which is good.
I mean, I hope, but I think we could be very disappointed with Swift, where I feel like the floor is safer with Downs if Joe Flacco plays.
Yeah,
so that's kind of
that's fair.
That's where I would go there. Johnny Pena.
Talking about Wilson, value if Adams is a Jet. Yeah, well, we can't predict the future, so unfortunately, you know, a question like that is basically saying predict the future. We don't know, but if Devontae Adams is a Jet, yes, it would hurt Garrett Wilson. Absolutely would hurt Garrett Wilson.
I guess the bigger question is, how far are you willing to risk it? Like, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
At this very moment, without knowing Devontae Adams, if he's going to the Jets, you got to trade for Chris Godwin in your inbox for Garrett Wilson.
Easy. Give me Godwin. I'll tell you the names. Jaden Reed. Give me Reed. Give me Metcalf. And by the way, this is even if a trade doesn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. If a trade doesn't happen, with or without, like you have to roll the dice here.
If a trade doesn't happen, I still want Reed rest of season, Metcalf, Debo, Kupp, Evans, Godwin, Marvin, Tyreek, Neighbors. So yeah.
Sure. Okay. That's good. Good to know, because that's kind of where I was at. I was like, honestly, if you have Garrett Wilson, I'm listening to offers to see what I can get. So hopefully those names help. Miles, he said, which side wins this trade? PPR 1 flex 12 team. Garrett Wilson plus Debo and Quentin Johnson for Justin Jefferson and Darnell Mooney. Worried about the Adams to the Jets. Okay, this is a great kind of segue.
Jefferson is just the best player in the deal. That's how I look at it.
So for Jefferson and Darnell Mooney, or Garrett Wilson for Mason, or the second trade is Garrett Wilson and Mason for Justin Jefferson.
I wouldn't send Mason away.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
You know what? I would if my running back room is strong enough, because that means I get to keep Debo, hypothetically. And I would prefer Debo over Mason rest of the season.
Well, yeah, that's kind of where I was going to say, like, I want Debo over Mason rest of the season, so I would be okay sending Garrett Wilson over Mason.
Yeah.
Or Garrett Wilson and Mason for Justin Jefferson. And honestly, like, if Quentin Johnson needs to be thrown into that, Miles, I'm okay with that. So, like, Garrett Wilson, Mason plus QJ. And maybe see if you can get the Darnell Mooney side back as well. So, like, I think the perfect trade would be Garrett Wilson, Mason, and Quentin for Justin Jefferson and Mooney. I think that would be just fine for the both of us there.
Yeah.
W. I'm a little worried about HN. Should I sell?
I think it's a bad time to sell, personally. We've talked about this a lot on stream, but Tua is going to come back. Like, I'm very confident in saying that to you guys. Of course, anything's possible. I could be wrong, but I'm very confident he'll be back. And when he is back, Achan's a top 5 running back rest of season.
Yeah.
So it's a bad time.
Agreed. Next question would be from Bentley.
Yep.
Have Dotto, Bucky, Braylon, Charbs, J-Mo, Purdy on the bench. Are any droppable for Kareem Hunt or Sermon? My running backs are fairly weak. Pollard, Bonte, Ramondre. I think Dotto is droppable.
I'd rather have Kareem Hunt over Charbs.
Yeah, I would say I think Dotto is droppable for sure for Kareem Hunt. And I would say Zach Charbonnet as well. I think what I would say is that Zach Charbonnet is worth rostering, because if Kenneth Walker does go down, we saw that 25-17 plus gain from him. So I think he is worth holding.
But if Ken plays, it's Ken's job. So I definitely
1,000%.
I would prefer Kareem Hunt over Dowdle and Charbonnet, but I'd rather drop Charbonnet for sure.
Yeah, I agree there.
All right, We got another question here. We'll get to this team review here very soon, actually. I promise you. Daewoo, appreciate the donation, man. He says 12-team PPR. He's got his team there. He says, who should I look to upgrade at wide receiver? I'm really worried about Achane. Bench includes B-Rob, Keenan Allen, Leggett, and Hawk, or should I hold? We actually just answered a similar question, but I think I get the concerns around Achane. And guys, Achane's going to be a tough start until Tua is back. But you have to be aware that if you trade Achane right now, number one, you're not going to get the value that you want. Number two, you're going to miss out on a potential league winner when Tua Tags is back and healthy. So we just have to be on the same page, knowing that if you trade him, there's a huge risk in doing that. But he says, who should I look to upgrade at wide receiver? So he's got London, Jason, and Keenan on the bench. Leggett. I mean, that is a tough wide receiver room, I'm not going to lie. It's tough to make a trade with this team, though.
I was going to say, it's tough to make a trade with this team, and the only player that I guess you can sell for right value right now, actually, there's really no one, is Alvin Kamara, but, like, that's the first person we would say you shouldn't trade. I guess you can trade London, but at the same time, these are guys, the most valuable players on your team are the most consistent players. I think trying to sell Breece Hall right now is wrong. Devon is wrong. All those guys are not the right time. They're just not the right time.
You don't have anyone
trade.
To sell high except for Kamara, and I don't think we want to sell Kamara. Do you know what I mean?
No. Yeah,
but,
exactly. So, like,
to be honest, having Brian Robinson on your bench, I don't know, dude. Like, this is probably a team where I'm looking at a Justin Jefferson trade. We talked about that earlier. I'm sending Kamara. I'm getting Jefferson and something. That would be my only idea, because then you can put B-Rob straight into your flex. But yeah, I think this is a team that I'd rather like go hard on the waiver wire. Like, this is a team, for example, where if Wicks is out there, I'm getting pretty aggressive.
Sure.
You've already got Leggett, which is great. You can start Leggett, but you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. Hopefully that helps there, Bounce. We really appreciate that super chat. Thank you so much for the support. Chris Cross Applesauce, how you doing, brother? He said trade Mason, Pittman, Shakira for Hall and Ayuk.
Yeah.
Yes, no question about it.
Take Breece Hall.
That's exactly what you want. Joey Castles, how you doing? He says flex Stevenson or Brian Robinson.
Got to put Brian out there, right?
Yeah, you kind of have to. I mean, Stevenson is just hard to start right now. It is against the Dolphins, and this should be a good bounce back game playing at home. Dolphins are terrible against the run. They currently give up the 4th most points, but I mean, Brian Robinson's ceiling is just so much higher.
It's nuclear,
significantly higher. Deontay Johnson, Reed, London, and Lamb pick 3. Who is out?
It'd be London for me. Want to start all of them, but if I have to,
I want to start all of them.
It's London.
I mean, why aren't we starting? Are you starting Deontay Johnson over Brian Thomas? Because
that's
I would
not
be.
the question here, though. That's a different.
I know. I would just say, like, if this is the same team, I'm starting all these players over Stevenson and Brian Thomas.
I agree, but I think it's two.
If that is a different question. Like, if that's a different team, it would be London then.
Yeah, agreed. All right, those are all the super chats for now. We do have a team review that we need to get to for Akshay. I appreciate you, man. Guys, if you want your team reviewed, if you want to ask a question through the site, whatever the case may be, then check out the link in the pinned comment. If you haven't created an account over on Flock Fantasy just yet, let me tell you, go do it now. Use the promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, and you'll get a 7-day free trial, free access to creator rankings, free access to the trade calculator, free access to the My Teams Analyzer. So keep that in mind. But we are going to go ahead and do this team review for Akshay. And then if there's any more super chats, we'll get to those afterwards. Which it looks like there's one that just came in from Charlie. So let's quickly do his. 0-4 in a PPR, 12-man. Hurts, Chase, Waddle, Flowers, Worthy, Jennings, Kyron, Rico, Javonte, Spears, Brooks. What can I do at this point? The team isn't bad. That's the thing. Like, your team isn't bad. Kyron's great. Your RB2 spot is where you're rough at, and you're waiting on Brooks to come back.
You're waiting on Brooks, and then I think like your wide receiver 2 did get hurt with Waddle. Flowers are up and down weeks. You have Worthy, who's going to have a good opportunity.
I'd be looking at selling Worthy if I'm in this scenario. If I can package Worthy and Rico and try and upgrade at running back somewhere, or Worthy and Javonte, or Worthy and Spears, I think that would be my first option. And I would definitely be looking at tight ends off the waiver wire, like Tucker Kraft, for example. Yeah. Not that we're dropping Kyle Pitts, but we're picking up those names. We're trying to look at streaming options every single week. I think that's the main path I'd be moving forward. But don't be discouraged, man. 0-4, you can win the next 4. You honestly can.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that you guys haven't produced. I mean, Waddle hasn't produced, Pitts hasn't produced, Javonte hasn't produced, Rico barely did anything the past couple weeks. Worthy only had the 1 game, Flowers had the 2 games. So, like, I mean, the start of the season, we're like, dude, this team is crazy.
Yeah.
Understanding it now is like, okay, makes sense. All right.
Let's get to the team review. Yeah,
let's do the team review. Jorge, we're definitely going to come back to you. We're going to do this team review, and then any super chats that do come in on YouTube or on the site, we will answer before we get off stream.
So also, if you want your team reviewed, check out the pinned comment, the link I'm putting to our website, because this is how obviously Megatron got it done. So it's Megatron 30 here. Malik the Freak is the team name. It's a 1 quarterback, 12 team, start 7 PPR, no tight end premium. He said trades away JT, Cooper, and Puka, and Braylon for Jettas and Jacobs. First off, I would not do that, but we'll keep going. He says also traded away Mason. Oh, is this a trade that you've already done, Akshay? My bad. Let me know if that's the case. He says also traded away Mason and Cup for Bucky, Rashad White, and CeeDee Lamb. Okay. Thoughts on those trades and what moves to make with the current new team? More trades to make, waivers to make. Thanks, appreciate y'all. Okay. Well, I thought that was a question. I didn't realize he already made those trades.
Yeah, all these trades have gone. So Amari Cooper and Puka and Braylon Allen for Justin Jefferson and Josh Jacobs. You're not doing that trade.
And JT. Don't not include.
Jonathan Taylor. So sorry. I didn't see it. So Jonathan Taylor, Amari Cooper, and Puka for Braylon Allen for Justin Jefferson and Josh Jacobs. Yeah, that feels like a lot. And then
I think give me Jonathan Taylor over Jacobs, even though he's injured. And then when Puka's back, it just feels like underselling Puka hardcore.
Sure.
And I know it's gonna take a while for him to be back, but I feel like when he is back, you will regret making that deal.
Mm-hmm.
When Puka's back, is he not a top 10 name every week for you?
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
I definitely agree there. I wonder when these trades got done, because I wonder if he sold Amari Cooper when he was doing garbage. Obviously Puka was already down. Braylon Allen was probably like a good sell high player in his eyes.
This isn't a bad trade to make like right when the the injury happens for Puka, so you can just get some wins under your belt.
Yeah, it just really depends on what that looks like. I wonder if we can get team records on week-to-week basis when somebody does a review like this. That would be kind of cool, because I don't know what his record is. And the second trade was Mason and Cup for Bucky, Rashad White, and CeeDee. Sorry, you traded away Mason, Cup for Bucky, Rashad White, and CeeDee Lamb. Okay, this one I'm okay with. I'm not sure about Zach.
Yeah, right. So Jordan Mason and Cup for Bucky, Rashad White, and CeeDee Lamb.
I'm okay with that because I think CeeDee Lamb is...
Yeah, I'm okay with that one too, because you're getting CeeDee Lamb. Jordan Mason's a temporary name, but I don't love that we have Bucky and Rashad. I don't want a part of that.
Sure.
If I can trade Rashad and Bucky and package them for like a Brian Robinson, a Montgomery, like I want to get out of that situation. It doesn't sound reliable. It sounds inconsistent on a week-to-week basis. So thinking about trading them for, I mean, I'd even rather have J.K. Dobbins, dude.
Sure. So looking at this team, he's ranked first according to expert consensus rankings. Malik the Freak. So Kyler Murray, Jahmyr Gibbs. So quarterback's great in a 1 quarterback. Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs.
Sorry, I'm pulling up his team now. Sorry, go ahead. I mean,
sure.
Let's restart. Go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously Kyler Murray, you ranked first. Once again, Kyler Murray's your quarterback, which is great in a 1 quarterback league. Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, Rashad White, Najee, Bucky Irving. I think the running back room is good in my opinion. I love Josh Jacobs still. I think he'll get better now with Jordan Love back. Wide receivers.
That wide receiver room is ridiculous, dude.
I mean, this is crazy, and this is a start 7, which means, so what's that? Kyler Murray, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson with Jake Ferguson and Malik. That's 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
I'm starting to like the Justin Jefferson trade more.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like the Justin Jefferson trade more as well. And then you have Lam McConkey and Tank Dell there. I think the only thing you just need to do is get some upside players off waiver wires. Maybe there is this is a 12-man league, but like maybe you do have Alexander Madison on the waiver wires. Pick him up just in case. Maybe you do have I'm trying to think who will be on the waiver wires here that you just need to roster just in case. And I'm gonna just open up the Flock League and tell you like who's available on waiver wires currently. Like a Jordan Whittington, maybe it's one. I thought Wandale Robinson's available. Wandale Robinson. Alan Lazard, you can probably pick him up right now just in case. I know Juju Smith doesn't seem exciting, but him or Christian Watson.
Don't do it. Don't curse yourself like that.
Pick up Christian Watson. Like now you're just picking up people off waiver wires, like you did mention. He said more trades to make, waivers to make. So, Justice Hill, is he available? Go pick him up. You're just picking up high upside guys that anything can happen. And what about Tyrone Tracy if Devin Singletary gets hurt? Tucker Kraft if Jake Ferguson gets hurt? I think this is a great team, honestly.
I think this is a very good team. I'm sorry, I actually do understand the trades given it's a start 7. You got the best player in those deals with Justin Jefferson, with CeeDee Lamb. That's my bad. I mean, that's a ridiculous roster. My piece of advice is I want to improve RB2. You are so stacked. Can I package Najee and White? Can I package Bucky and Najee? Can I package all 3 of these guys? I want to upgrade at running back 2. And by the way, don't panic on Kyler Murray. He's still going to be good. But why don't we find an RB needy team? And that's looking like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, who has Etienne, Swift, and Ford. Etienne, not really the upgrade we're looking for, though. Let's look at another option here. For example, the team who has Breece Hall, look at their running back depth. Completely shot. So the first idea we have is sending them Rachaad White, Bucky, and Najee for Breece Hall. I don't care if we send all 3 of them. Do it. The other option is by choosing Josh Jacobs and Bucky. Josh Jacobs and Rachaad. Josh Jacobs and Najee. So that is the other option. I want Breece Hall. This is the perfect team to do the trade with.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Let's look at another trade. How about the guy who has Alvin Kamara? He's got Jordan Mason. He's probably nervous. Can I get Alvin Kamara? You're going to have to give him Josh Jacobs. I'll give him Jacobs and Rachaad White. I'll give him all 4. I'll give him Jacobs, Rachaad White, and Najee. I'll give him Jacobs, Najee, and Bucky. I'll give him Jacobs and Ladd. I'll give him Jacobs and Dell. We're getting the deal done if I can get Alvin Kamara on the team. Another perfect fit. How about Devon Achane? Yeah. Buy him on the low. This is actually a great idea for you. Let's send away Rachaad White and Najee and Bucky, all 3 of them for Achane if we can. Otherwise, we can send Jacobs and Najee, getting back Achane and Brian Thomas, for example. Mm-hmm. Another great idea. I'm on a freaking heater right now for you, bro. How about Kyren Williams? Let's send Jacobs and Najee for Kyren Williams. Perfect. Jacobs and Bucky. Jacobs and Rachaad. Let's get Kyren. How about Derka Henry? Let's send Jacobs and Rachaad. Again, same combos. Same combos. I'm trying every single one of these players.
Same combos. Come on.
McCaffrey. Honestly, dude, this is a team I'd trade for McCaffrey with this team. I'll send him Rachaad White, Bucky Irving, and we'll give him Ladd McConkey as well to help at wide receiver.
Come on.
I mean, any of those trades, you're absolutely winning your league with any of those trades. You don't trade Jake Ferguson. In a crazy tight end landscape, he is so safe. You don't panic on Kyler Murray. He's still going to be good. The only thing we really want to do is improve running back 2, and we just talked about all the ways you could do that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with all those things. I mean, let us know if you have any questions there. Actually, I think this is a great team, honestly.
I agree.
I don't see, like, once again, if you can't get those trades done, don't stress. Go pick up high upside players off the waiver wires. Once again, like the Alexander Madison, what happens if Devontae Adams gets traded? You go pick up Trey Tucker or Jacoby Myers, or I doubt they're available, but you get what I'm saying. Um, you just go for high upside players that are all available on waivers and go from there.
12 teams start 7. Your waivers are probably looking good, which is cool. So you make as many 2-for-1 deals to improve your roster, and you've been doing the right thing from day one. And I'm sorry for questioning you at the very beginning. So, dude, that's really the main piece of advice I'd give you. Actually, if you're in the chat, please let us know if you have any final questions. And while we are waiting for you to reply, we'll get to some of these super chats, starting with Jorge. And by the way, guys, if you want your dynasty team, or not a dynasty, well, yeah, if you want a dynasty team review or a redraft team or whatever the case may be, check out the link in the comments I just put in there. It's a pinned comment as well. You can get a team review through the website there, and we can review your team just like we did for Akshay here. But congratulations on building one hell of a squad. All right, let's get to some super chats while we wait on him to reply. Jorge says 12-man PPR, 4-0. He's got Darnold, Kyron, Monty, Kamara, Nico, AJ Brown, Komet, Stafford, Ladd, Whittington, Wright, Keaton on IR. I love that. Should I trade or just chill?
I mean,
I
you're
don't know why
4-0.
you trade any of these names away.
You're 4-0, so there's really no need to trade. I think you have Nico and AJ Brown, which is great. You're probably flexing the likes of those running backs, which has been phenomenal for you. I would say this, in a one quarterback league, there's no point of rostering Matthew Stafford if there's other quarterbacks available on your waiver wire. Maybe you should go pick up another high upside player.
I agree. That's a good point. Stafford
and I would also
rostered here.
I would also say I think Justice Hill has solidified himself to have a nice role. I think Keaton Mitchell is I mean, you have him on IR, sure, that's fine. Don't stress about it. Keep him on IR. But there's like a Kendre Miller available. Go pick him up, put him on IR, and go see what he's gonna do. Just because once again,
I kind of disagree. I feel like Keaton Mitchell overtakes Justice when he's back. He just has his explosiveness that Justice couldn't dream of.
Sure. And that's fine. Like however way you want to go about it. But I don't think there's anything else you should be doing here. Obviously, you could go out and trade for a tight end, but I think the fact that you're 4-0 right now, you're fine. You know, go stream Tucker Craft, like Zach has been saying. Go pick up another tight end that might be available in your waiver wires currently. That you can do the Noah Fant or the Tyler Conklins or the Dalton Schultz or the Hunter Henrys, but don't trade for a tight end. I think your team is well enough.
Dude, you're 4-0 and you're gonna get AJ Brown back after the bye. You're killing it. You are literally killing it. Don't overthink it. I think sometimes we can do that in fantasy. We'll be like, I need to tinker, and then we kind of overthink things and we just trade. I think you're doing really well. Don't overthink this one. Akshay, by the way, he says, I feel like Rachaad White and Bucky are in good offenses. I could trade them both for an upgrade. Which of Najee and Rashad and Bucky is the most valuable rest of season? I think Najee's probably the most valuable in a trade, but whichever of them gets you the highest return, I would totally move off of any of those names because, to be honest, they're probably all in a very similar tier anyway.
Yeah, agreed. I would agree there.
Next super chat is from PM Chunk, who says, have Gibbs, HM, Brees thinking long-term trade away Deontay Chuba for Debo Mooney? I like the idea of Debo. I don't like Mooney being the part of that trade, though. I like Mooney, but it needs to be a different name for me. Not to say that I'm anti-Mooney or anything, but like Addison, for example, Lad McConkey, Roma Dunze.
Yeah, I agree. I think you could definitely get more, especially with
Terry
Chuba. But like,
Worthy.
Are you selling Chuba now in the perspective of like Jonathan? Like, let me ask you this: like, if the news of Jonathan Taylor was that he was coming back in week 5, I don't think you can get Addison, like the names that you just named for Chuba.
Wait, how does Jonathan Taylor play a part there?
Sorry, not Jonathan Taylor. Like the names that you just said. Forget about what I just said. The names that you just said, switching out for Darnell Mooney. Don't you think that he's probably selling Chuba at the right time with the expectations of Jonathan Brooks coming back?
Well, there's a factor here that none of us know the answer to, which is how long is Andy Dalton the starter? But Aki, if Andy Dalton started the rest of the year, I'm taking Deontay over Debo in a heartbeat.
Deontay, sure, and I understand that. I think
so. I feel like a lot of people would feel that way right now. I just don't feel like we're maximizing the value. I love the idea. I just don't think we're maximizing value.
The thing is, like, I don't think you can maximize the value. I don't think you can maximize the value in a trade like this, where people are already projecting that Bryce Young is going to come back. Do you get what I'm saying? That
he might. We don't know.
That Jonathan Brooks is going to come back and Chuba loses opportunity. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I think this is why he's sticking this way. This is why this trade is probably something in the works, because once Bryce Young is going to start in week 5, Jonathan Brooks come back in week 6, you probably can't do that trade. So it's kind of risk reward here. Like you got to roll the dice and be like, okay, well, you don't know what the future is, but maybe this is the best value I can get.
I just don't think it is. I really don't. I just don't think it is. Like the vibes on Debo are so low right now. He's going to be so much better, but the vibes are so low. And I just don't think you're maximizing value. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
By the way, Akshay said, is him being 1-3 changing the advice? No, it's not. Brother, you by far, and the league analyzer says it, I get like you've been probably pretty unlucky, but you are by far the best team in your league.
Well, the wins will come.
The wins will come.
Actually, the wins will come in. You have to think about it. JT started off the year rough. Amari Cooper started off the year rough. Puka Nacua injured. Braylon Allen probably was somebody you picked up off of waiver wires. It's going to get better. It's going to get better.
I genuinely believe that you will make the playoffs with this team.
And it looks like you had Puka and Cooper Kupp, and both of those guys go down, and then you pick up Mason off of waiver wires.
Yeah.
You know, like, it will get better.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's going to get better, dude. I know that it feels like a panic right now, but I would not panic if I were you.
The next question here is from Miles. Unless you have something to say.
No.
Debo plus Mason for JJ and Mooney. I think Miles did that other question earlier.
That's very similar to the one we just talked about.
Was it Miles? I thought it was
PM
Miles.
Chunk. We just had a similar question about Debo, with Debo and Mooney involved, but it's different sides.
Miles did ask that, like, Garrett Wilson plus Debo for Quentin. So now he's asking Debo plus Mason for JJ and Mooney. Like, would you want?
So is this his second super chat? Are you saying?
Yeah, this is his second super chat. So like, if we're building off of that trade specifically, like, would the next question would be, is it Debo Samuel, Justin Jefferson, or Garrett Wilson? Excuse me. Who would you rather keep then? I think for me, I would keep Debo. Just the likelihood, I feel like, of Adams.
Neither of those trades you get to keep Debo, though. That was always the problem.
Sure, but in this scenario now, sure, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. You're right. Well, if you had the option to do either or, would you do Garrett Wilson or Debo?
I'd rather keep Garrett Wilson than give both Debo and Garrett Wilson up. But
agreed. That's what I'm saying. But I'd
like to use Garrett Wilson as the piece here. So I'd counter this by Garrett Wilson and Macy for JJ. I don't need Mooney back.
Mooney, yeah, sure.
Just make it a 2-for-1.
I'm fine with that.
That'd be my counter. Or some form of that format where you don't have to give up Debo and you're getting rid of Garrett Wilson.
Okay. The locker room.
This is probably the last question for today, right?
Yeah, most likely the last question for today, unless we get other super chats. We have a lot of content to create for you coming up for today. But the locker room is your first super chat. Thank you so much. He says 2-2, 8-man PPR. Your quarterbacks is Jaden Daniels, Alvin Kamara. Okay, what's the question? He said traded Brees and Connor for Alvin Kamara. Good trade. I think in an 8-man league, absolutely. I think this is a good trade. We always like to say in a smaller league, you want heavy hitters. You want the guys that are going to make a difference here. And I think sending away Brees and Connor for the RB1 currently in the NFL or in fantasy, I think is something that I would do. And you have Alvin Kamara and Brees Hall with Nico Neighbors waiting in the wing with Sam Laporta. I think this is fine.
I'm kind of indifferent. I'm kind of indifferent myself. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that like it's a bad trade. I'm just indifferent. Love Alvin. He was my guy this year. It's looking incredible, but I could still see a scenario where Brees outscores him rest of the season. It's unlikely,
sure.
But I'm just kind of indifferent because I do believe that Connor's a very usable asset, even in an 8-team league. I mean, James Conner scored over 18 points in every game except for one this year. But overall, like I like the theory of the trade because it's an 8-team league, so you're getting the best player. So overall, I do like that trade that you made. But you're pretty solid, man. I mean, Jaden Daniels, Alvin, Bijan, Nico Neighbors, Laporta. It's hard to get much better than that. I think you're killing it, dude.
I agree. I think you are killing it. And obviously, in an 8-man league, this is a lot of teams look good, but I think this is a great move, especially the way Alvin Kamara is going right now. So I think you're fine here.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chats.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you guys. Sorry we weren't able to get to the regular questions at this time. Darth, I see you commenting. You've got the fancy hotline. Feel free to hit us up over there. But like we said, always, if you want to guarantee like your question gets answered straight away, best way is to ask a question through the website. We'll be live tomorrow. So get your questions in. Tomorrow, you'll be the first one that we get answered. You can also get a team review there if you prefer to get your team reviewed as well. But that's it for today. So sorry we can't keep going. We just got to make some content, but we appreciate y'all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. All love.
Love.